Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitation in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with body shame or shaming of your body or parts of your body that you don't feel good about. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes, my 2 books, which you can find on Amazon, and lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. Also, I have a new podcast called The Cinema Rag, which you can find on Apple or Spotify or SoundCloud or anywhere if you like movies. All right, so again, I don't know where you're at in your weight loss or weight maintenance. Some of you are overweight, very overweight, moderately overweight. Maybe you're losing weight. Maybe you've lost the weight. And you have parts of your body that you're not happy with. Now, how do you deal with this? I have an episode over at Reflections of a Weight Loss Warrior playlist. So if you guys are new to the channel, I have 2 playlists that deal with my early life. So Confessions of an Obese Child, which is also the name that is shared with my podcast that I started in 2017, and the book that I have, are reflections of what it was like growing up overweight and why I turned to food and how I dealt with the bullying and the self-loathing and the suicidal ideation. And then there's 20 episodes there culminating on how I lost my weight. Then Reflections of a Weight Loss Warrior is about 30 episodes where I talk about like dealing with the issues that came with losing the weight, having imposter syndrome, dealing with disordered eating and so forth. So over at Reflections, I do have an episode where I talk about my own personal struggles with body acceptance. Now that being said, anyone who's overweight would be like, well, I'd rather be thinner and deal with flabby skin than be overweight. Totally hear you. Like if you ever have a friend who's overweight, like a female friend, and she's really overweight, and then the regular weighted woman's like, you know what? I hate my body. I just gained 5 pounds. It's like you're completely tone deaf because your overweight friend is like, I'm 50 pounds overweight. You're a spoiled little brat. So I always keep that in perspective. So I am grateful for my weight loss and the fact that I have these issues. So you don't want to be tone deaf about things like that. So look, how do you deal with parts of your body that you're not happy with? Let's do it in 2 different phases. Let's say you're overweight. Yeah, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember when I had the fat rolls, I would stink to high heaven. I would have I wouldn't say mold, but I would have get sweaty in the fat rolls and things would grow in there. I've mentioned that my mom used to have to sprinkle baby powder in my groin area because I couldn't wipe my butt because I couldn't reach my butt. And I mean, this was going to age 15, 16, very, very embarrassing. And so how do you deal with looking in the mirror when you're so morbidly overweight? There's different ways to handle it. We certainly don't want to fat shame, right? We have videos here about the body positive movement overall not being successful for overweight people in the long run. So you don't want to hate yourself. I think the best way to look at it is see this is kind of like a chrysalis with a butterfly and a worm. This is who I am now, but I don't want this to be me forever, and I'm going to work hard to change it. Now, easier said than done, especially if you haven't disassociated emotions with food. If you still have a disordered relationship with food, which of course if you're overweight, you do have a disordered relationship with food. But the opposite way would be oh, I'm a horrible fat piece of crap, oh, da, da, da. And that's just going to lead to more of the self-loathing. So I think if you're overweight and you don't like looking at your body, really all you can do is either do nothing about it and just keep eating and just keep getting more overweight and kind of having that fatalistic loser mindset, or be like, yeah, okay, I don't like the way I look, but I'm going to do something about it. Now, if you are in the middle of weight loss, let's say you need to lose 60 pounds, you've lost 30 pounds or 40 pounds, and now you're noting kind of the saggy skin and the stretch marks, it's the same thing. Just understand, look, first of all, focus on the positive. I did lose this weight, and I'm going to continue to lose weight. It's going to take time. I'm going to do it healthily, but I'm losing weight. And I know these are just temporary markers and they're not pleasant, but I'd rather have these stretch marks and so forth than be overweight. Now, for those of you who've lost all the weight and you have these stretch marks, you do have options. I talk about in the reflection series, so I have a couple things. I have stretch marks under my arm that I'm always going to have, but I have this thing called the bloopy. The bloopy is just loose skin that I've had since I lost my weight back in 1991. And the bloopy will get bigger or smaller depending if I gain weight, but it's if I'm doing push-ups or if I'm in a prone position and I move, you can see the bloopy, it moves a little too. So I find it to be unsightly. Any women that I've been with in the past really don't mention anything about it because they want to be sensitive, but I'm sure they don't like the fact that I have it. So I had a decision to make in the 90s. Like, do I want to go under the knife and get this removed or try to get to remove the best I can, or do I just accept it? And because of my reluctance with surgeries and whatnot, especially in the 90s, but even now, I decided to keep it. And so, look, if you have post-weight loss body issues that you don't like, I think whether it be a saggy butt or whether it be cellulite or whether it be loose skin or whatever it is, there's a couple of mindsets to have. And the mindset that I kind of inhabited was, yeah, my body's not perfect, but I did lose a lot of weight, and the large majority of people who are overweight couldn't lose this weight. And I have this stuff, and it's just body acceptance. I am regular weighted now. I'm going to have these vestiges. Anytime I'm at the gym in a locker room and someone's looking at me, they can obviously tell that I lost a lot of weight. But it's a vestige. It's a vestigial reminder of your accomplishment. Now, if you're like, I don't need a vestigial reminder of my accomplishment, I'd rather just know that I accomplished it in my head and have a more chiseled body, you can do that. Over at Confessions of an Obese Child, the podcast, I interviewed a woman a long time ago who had lost weight, and she had several plastic surgeries to get her boobs better and to do lipo and all these things, and she did butt stuff and all these things. And if you're one of these people, man or woman, who feels the need to do it, all right, more power to you, then do it. Do the plastic surgery. I'm not going to tell you either way what to do with your own body. For me, I just decided that I didn't want to go under the knife, and I was just going to accept it. Now, for years, even after post-weight loss, I was self-conscious about my body to the point where I would still wear shirts. Even after I lost all my weight, I was regular weighted because of the bloopy. Or I would never take off my shirt. But then about 10 years ago, I was just like, screw it. I don't care now. So anytime I'm running outside, I run without a shirt. When I'm at the pool, I take off my shirt. Do I know people notice my imperfections? I don't really think about it, but I even if they do check it out and they're like, oh, they can tell I was overweight, I'd be like, okay, so what? I'm not overweight now. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. But I understand, look, I'm 49 now. I just turned 49. How a 49-year-old man feels about his body post-weight loss, it can be infinitely different than what a 27-year-old woman feels. So ultimately, you look at your finances, you look at the cost-benefit analysis of plastic surgery, because there is going to be risks to it. You also kind of know about your behavior and your addictive personality, because we do know, like with tattooing and piercing, there's a lot of people that once they start doing one plastic surgery, they'll keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Right? You go to a plastic surgeon, he'll find something wrong, anything wrong with your body, just to make you insecure enough to get more plastic surgery. So just kind of know yourself, because you don't want to go down that slippery slope like a lot of people get tattoos do. Just say, okay, I'm going to get this one thing done and that's it. Because the next thing you know, you're going to be all, fake everything, and you don't want that. And honestly, we don't want to worship the body. The body is transient. We do want to treat it like a temple, but treating it like a temple, as is mentioned by Paul in 1 Corinthians, is more about treating it with respect, right? Don't indulge it with alcohol and drugs and do things to the temple that are going to shorten your life expectancy. But we don't want to go the other way, where it's the deification of the body, where you see these, especially like 20-something men at the gym who are just, I see this all the time, they're looking in the mirror, all the time, or in the showers, even the mirrors in the locker rooms, looking at their bodies. We do want to be careful about kind of swerving and like worshiping the created instead of worshiping the creator. Ultimately, in closing, I would just say body acceptance. Remember that you lost the weight. That is a big accomplishment. And yes, your body's not perfect. So what? Nobody really has a perfect body. Very few people do. Maybe people who are teenagers in their 20s. But it's okay if you don't have a perfect body. Just do the best that you can within means, with good diet, exercise, stretching. You can do cryotherapy. We have a video on that. And ultimately, just do the best that you can. But if you feel the need to do surgery, just be very wary of that. Know the implications. And ultimately, just accept your body for the way it is. Because if you don't, this is what leads to problems in the long run in terms of accepting your body. Guys, post in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Have you done surgery? Do you feel insecure about certain parts of your body? Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.